Before we get started, what you're about to hear is not legal or financial advice. We encourage you to consult with your legal and financial advisors when considering the information in this episode. Welcome to The Critical Path, Greater Vancouver Realtors Professionalism and Innovation Focused podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Lalime. Today, we're thrilled to discuss an exciting and unique new offering for our members to plan for their retirement. So let's say you're a realtor listening right now. You've been at it 20, 30, maybe even 40 years. You made countless deals, you've helped families find their ideal homes and built a solid career. And now you're ready to ride off into the sunset. But what are your retirement options? You might have an RRSP, but there's nothing special out there specifically for realtors. That's where our guest JP Laporte and his company, INTEGRIS Pension Management Corp, come in. JP's dedicated his life to delivering the best retirement savings and pension plan options to Canadians from all walks of life. And earlier this year, we partnered with JP and INTEGRIS to deliver a unique, innovative retirement planning solution for Greater Vancouver Realtors. He's joining us remotely from his home base in Ontario today. Welcome to the pod, JP.
I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad we were able to get you on an off day from your very busy schedule, sometimes appearing in front of government and the House of Commons and all those types of things. It's very exciting. This is probably a little bit of a step down for you in terms of that kind of excitement level today, but we're thrilled to have you here.
Oh, I wish I had been able to come to Vancouver.
Yeah, the weather's kind of doing its spring fits and starts thing, but the beautiful days out here are quite nice. So hopefully you're having some of that same weather in Ontario.
Yep, no, it's nice and sunny today, so I cannot complain.
Beautiful, beautiful. So why don't we get right into it? We mentioned off the top here, this is kind of something you've done your whole life. Why did you create this plan for our members?
Well, it's really to give business owners, and I put real estate agents and real estate brokers in that bucket, it's to give business owners access to the same quality of pension solutions that civil servants, teachers, and unionized workers have enjoyed for a long, long time. Too many business owners are relegated to using an RRSP or a tax-free savings account because no one has taken the time to create a true pension solution for them. So that was really the mission, is to kind of lift all the boats and give the realtors access to the same quality of solution that others in the public sector have been enjoying for decades.
Mm-hmm. And so I understand this is a first of its kind plan for our members. What makes it that?
That's right. That's right. The Greater Vancouver Real Estate Board is the first real estate board in Canada to give its members access. I mean, it's on a voluntary basis, but to give access to a true registered pension plan solution. So you guys are really trailblazers out west. And I guess the hope is as more and more people realize the value, it will spread across the rest of the country.
Yeah, that's something we're known for, blazing new trails out here in Greater Vancouver. Tell us more about this plan.
Okay, well, these pension plans are based in the Income Tax Act, and they follow the same legislation as the one that governs large public sector plans. Now, what's interesting about them is they're supervised and registered with the Canada Revenue Agency, the CRA, and that provides them with a bunch of advantages, such as the ability to make contributions that are fully tax deductible, having all the growth of the money that's contributed to the plan also increase tax sheltered. They also benefit from superior creditor protection in case you get sued or for whatever reason. And they can be invested, or the assets that are put into these solutions can be invested in asset classes that are not usually available for those using an RRSP, like, for example, like private real estate. Right? So it's a series of advantages that are all wrapped into one offering.
There's a lot to kind of take in from all of that. For a member listening right now, who might be the type of member who might most benefit from a plan like this?
Well, really those who use a professional corporation, whether it's a real estate, a personal real estate corporation or a holding company, Right now, they're using those as if this was a quasi pension plan. What we think is that it is more important to use a pension plan if you want to save for retirement than using a corporation. And so that's one category of members that will really benefit. The other ones are those who not only use a corporation, but also have family members that are currently on the payroll. And there are two reasons for that. The first one is that those who use their corporation to save passively do so in an extremely tax inefficient manner. The problem in Canada is that when you're using your corporation to save for retirement, you're potentially exposing yourself to 6 different taxes along the way. And I'm not going to bore you with all those 6 taxes, but just so you know, it's very, very full of taxes.
It's a lot.
But when you're using a pension plan, there's only one of those 6 taxes that really comes into being, and it's only when you're in retirement. And even that one single tax you do have to worry about if you use a pension plan could be extremely low if you happen to retire outside of Canada as a non-resident. So that's the first big reason, is using your corporation as if it was a quasi-pension plan is extremely tax inefficient. So we don't want that. The second one is that even if you do everything right and you stash as much money in your corporation as possible because you didn't want to do a pension plan, and then you pass away without being able to do a rollover, without being able to pass your wealth to your spouse, either because the spouse died with you or you don't have a spouse, then you have a massive death tax problem. The pension plan allows real estate agents and brokers who set up these structures to pass that wealth to the next generation, to the loved ones, without the death taxes. So it's really a 1-2 punch. It's significantly more tax effective because we're not facing 6 taxes, we're facing 1. And then on the event of a catastrophe like a death, we can pass the wealth to the family members instead of giving half of it to the Canada Revenue Agency. So those are the people who will most benefit from using a pension solution.
And so that kind of gets into my next question, because we're talking about a little bit about what members need to know or kind of have in place before starting up with a pension plan. And so it kind of starts with incorporation. And here we have, personal real estate corporations, or PRECs. So that's kind of the first step.
That's correct. So a member from your board who is thinking of this really needs to keep a couple of things in mind. If you're not incorporated yet, get it done. Get your incorporation. You can go online, and for $250, you can have a corporation right now. Okay? Without a corporation, you typically can't have a pension plan. So that's a big problem. If you are incorporated, but on the advice of your financial planner or your accountant, all you've done is take dividends, stop that. Talk to your accountant about taking some of the compensation that the corporation can pay you in the form of what we call T4 income. So that could be either a bonus, a one-time bonus at the end of the year, for example, or if you want to be more disciplined about it, then just put yourself on salary. Start collecting a salary from your corporation. The problem, you see, is this. Without T4 income, without either a bonus or a salary, it is not possible to have a pension plan in Canada. So those two elements have to be there. A corporation paying T4 income. If you don't have those two in place, you can't enjoy any of the stuff that the pension plan can give you.
One of the other inquiries we've heard from members, because as you mentioned off the top, they've probably already started a retirement savings through an RRSP or through a tax-free savings account. So for somebody who has something like this already set up and is interested in this is the kind of thing that's transferable, right? They don't have to kind of start from scratch. They can move their things over.
That's correct, Jesse. So if you have an RRSP, because that's what you knew and this is what you were using to save for retirement, it's not a problem. The RRSPs that you've accumulated up to this point in time can stay in the RRSP, or they can be transferred inside of your pension plan. In fact, even if you did transfer RRSPs into your pension plan, you can always transfer it back into an RRSP in the future as well. And every transfer that I'm mentioning here occurs without any taxation. There are special CRA forms that we use to move monies from an RRSP to a pension and back and forth with no taxation. So you can keep it there or you can consolidate it inside of your pension plan. There's not a conflict between the two strategies.
Another question they have is, what about kind of like a minimum requirement, a minimum amount to kind of get started with the plan here?
Yeah, so there's no real minimum amount, but we won't offer a pension plan to a realtor without first going through a rigorous financial analysis to make sure that it creates, net of all fees, value for the customer immediately. So what we do is we gather data, we run it through our software to produce projections, and then these projections show us all the various tax deductions that are possible, thanks to pension laws. And then what we do is we map those against any annual fees to ensure that the solution auto-finances itself. And it's only at that point that we would recommend to move forward. So the fact that people say, well, is there a minimum? What they're trying to say is, gee, what's the cost benefit? Well, we do the cost benefit for you through the software after we gather all the data. And so we'll know. We can show you in black and white and say, okay, this is what you stand to gain. This is how much it's going to cost. Here's the net after fee result. So do you want this net after fee income or do you not want it? That's the basic question. But we won't sign up people if the model doesn't work.
And in terms of any other kind of critical information a member might want to consider before getting started, what else might a member want to know from your perspective?
Well, one of the questions we often get is, what are some of the advantages of this plan that the members should know about? And so there are really three key ones. This is a trifecta. There's three things you have to keep in mind. One, the biggest is the advantage to triple, if not quadruple, the tax deductions that you're currently getting under an RRSP. And that's because of the nature of pension legislation. It's significantly more generous than the RRSP system. So, of course, if you're allowed to put more money in, you're going to get to your retirement goal sooner. So that's the first one, tripling or more your tax deductions. Number one is, and we talked about it, is if you have family members that you can put on the payroll of your corporation, if you pass away, by having it in the pension plan, it can pass to the next generation with no tax. So that's the difference between your family getting 100% of your money or 50% of your money. And if you've had this plan for many, many years, this could be millions of dollars. So that's the second thing to keep in mind. And the final one is that, and this occurs whether or not you have family members working in your company, is that because this is not an RRSP, it is easier to invest in certain asset classes like private real estate. Now, a lot of realtors know and understand real estate really well, private real estate. I'm not talking about a publicly traded REIT on the stock market here. I'm talking about buying and selling houses and condos and commercial real estate. So a lot of realtors are doing this right now, but they're doing it with non-registered, meaning taxable dollars. So every time they're successful at flipping a property or collecting rents, they're paying tax. With a pension plan, you can get into the same type of investment, except you don't pay tax because the pension plan is tax exempt. So realtors who love, understand, appreciate private real estate, if they want to do this in a tax exempt environment, they have to use a pension plan. You can't do it really in any other way. So those are the three things: tripling your tax deductions, passing the wealth to the next generation without a huge death tax or any death tax, and while you're alive, having the ability to invest in private real estate in a tax-exempt manner. So those are the three things that I would like people to leave this interview with and say, oh, one of those three interests me, or all three.
I can't see how all three wouldn't really interest anybody, right? But
sure,
that's a great. It's a great thing to walk out of here from. To walk away from the podcast is that trifecta. How can our members connect with you if they want to learn more, JP?
Well, the Greater Vancouver Real Estate does have a page that's dedicated to this offering, and I hope you'll be able to circulate that. But we can also, the members can always send us an email at gvr@integris-mgt.com. And again, hopefully you can circulate that around. And then in that email, the members can ask specific questions, or better yet, schedule a one-on-one confidential discussion with our staff to discuss their particular situation. Not general questions, but particular to their own life. And then we will, either collect information and run an illustration, a projection like I talked about earlier, or simply supply additional materials, answer the questions, provide guidance, etc.
Get right into the fine details with everybody,
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's awesome. And for sure, I'll just use this as a jumping off point to say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your expertise with us. We really appreciate you having you on the pod today, JP.
My pleasure. Anytime.
And I'll confirm what JP was just saying. membernews.gvrealtors.ca is the website. You will find sample quotes, other data, and even a recording of the event we had with JP earlier this year when we launched the program. And remember, if you have a financial planner or a lawyer, consult with them to determine whether this opportunity is right for you. You can even get them to connect with INTEGRIS. Just share that email address with them. Again, that's gvr@integris-mgt.com. GVR is proud to offer this innovative retirement solution for our members. JP and his group at INTEGRIS are standing by to help you down the path to a comfortable and secure retirement. For now, I'm your host, Jesse Lalime, and I'll see you down the next critical path.